Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you an NFL Week 3 preview between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Washington Redskins. Let's look at the Bengals in this ball game. Offensively, you look at the talented playmaker in A.J. Green. I would utilize him more in the slot this week versus that 3-4 defense. Why? You can attack the seams better with your big playmaker in the slot. You don't have the tight end. Well, you do have the tight end in Jermaine Gresham, but how cool would that be, and also how much of trouble that would be for a defense to have Gresham and A.J. Green on the interior. So I would keep A.J. Green on the interior. Plus, you can also attack the flats easier. You can get him outside on the flats easier from the slot position as opposed from the flanker or split end position. And now look at the running game. You want to get creative in the running game. I'm talking about toss sweeps with guys like Andrew Hawkins. Find ways to get him involved. I know he's a receiver, but he has the burst and he has the speed that can do a lot of damage. Find ways to get him the football. Now, defensively, when you look at the Redskins, it's alignment and assignment. You have to do both exceptionally well. Otherwise, you're going to get burned for big plays in the air and on the ground. Versus a read option, you got to know your assignment. Do not try to be a hero. You can't get outflanked by their position. Don't let the Redskins out-formation you. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself losing. And X factor in this ballgame has to be the third down offense. The Bengals have to stay on the field versus the Washington Redskins. If you can't do that versus the Redskins, their running game will chew up the TOP and shrink the ballgame and then put a lot of pressure on your passing attack. Now let's look at the Redskins in this matchup. When you look at Washington and what they do well, Washington can run the football. They have tremendous depth in the backfield, but they have to get those running backs involved in the passing game. Try some screen plays. Try some plays where you get those guys involved in the flats. Utilize the running backs in the passing game, I think, will give you a healthy advantage over your opposition. Now, you also look at the fact that little things make a huge difference. I'm not even going to mention the bonehead play by a wide receiver last week that cost the Redskins the game, but the little things, drop passes. That play, the bonehead play, wouldn't have mattered had Eldrick Robinson caught the ball and not tried to catch it with his shoulder pads. I think that could have had a huge effect on the game. That was a touchdown. So the little things, catching the football, making sure you hold on to blocks, sustaining blocks, that right there is the little things that can make a big difference for the Redskins. And I think I like what I see. Well, I know I like what I see as far as continuing to unveil new wrinkles of the offense. Week 1, it was all about the short passing game. Week 2, it was all about running RG3. Who knows what's in store for Week 3, but that's a good thing. Defensively, more coverage versus Dalton. Dalton is a guy that will pat the football and tip you off and then throw it. So if you can play more coverage, you can have a chance to come away with interceptions. And Rob Jackson, that's going to be replacing Arakpo, doesn't have to be Arakpo. He just has to be Rob Jackson. Do what you do well, understand your abilities, and then make plays. And know when Hawkins is on the field. Hawkins has quietly become their key playmaker. Identify where he is and figure out how to stop him. And the X factor has to be discipline. Now I can mention the bonehead play. You can't allow that to beat your team in a ball game in which you had it won. Now you look at the personnel breakdowns. These are deciding who has the advantage and the liabilities, where they are in this matchup. And I think they both have solid quarterbacks. The Redskins have the advantage in the backfield. Receivers, tight ends, I think they have a lot of talent there. The liabilities are on the Redskins defensive line because of the injury to Carricker, and also the offensive line. The linebackers, I think they're equal, and I'm a big fan of the secondary of Cincinnati. I think they have the advantage in personnel over there. So when you look at this game, you look at two teams, very talented bunch, man. A young ball club in Washington, a very young ball club in Cincinnati. I actually like the Bengals to go into Washington and steal a victory. I think the defense will be active versus RG3. I think the offense of the Bengals with the ground game is not explosive, but it's consistent. I think that will do a great job versus Washington. So I think the Bengals will win this one out there in the nation's capital.